Adelante.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Today is Thursday, September the 19th. My name is Judge Esparza. We have some writ hearings scheduled for the afternoon. There are some defendants are present in the courtroom. They have been sworn. We do not have a court reporter. If you're requesting a court reporter, your case will be reset for a later date. Not hearing any objection, we will proceed. First case we're going to call is C 4276-24-I, State of Texas versus Andres Aparicio. Okay, you speak English, correct? You can stay there. You speak English, correct? Okay. Jaime Aleman, Jaime, you there?
Judge, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Judge.
Mr. Moss, good afternoon. You may proceed, Jaime.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, my client is before this honorable court on writ of habeas corpus I filed, has been in custody since September the 9th on a charge of aggravated assault at this point. That's the point of contention now. Just skipping ahead a little bit, there are a few other cases that are now, since the filing of this writ, holding them that are pending in other courts, Judge, in all fairness, and 92nd as a case that we'll have to take up with that court. But for today, the aggravated assault has a $50,000 cash surety bond, Judge. Of note in this particular case, my client, the alleged victim on that case was his girlfriend. She was very quick to reach out and contact my office, Judge, indicating to us that she actually never had any intention of filing these charges. We did request a copy of the probable cause, but to be honest with you, I have not seen that from the DA's office. But at this particular point, we do find that noteworthy for the court's consideration. The alleged victim has indicated to our office that she does not want to proceed with charges. That's a factor that obviously the court can consider. At this particular point, Judge, my client is a U.S. citizen. As mentioned, we understand he does have a prior history. However, pending the resolution of those cases, we're asking for a reduction on his current $50,000 bond as being beyond his financial means. We're asking for a $5,000 cash surety bond at this time, Judge.
What says the state? Andrew?
Your Honor, good morning, or good afternoon, Your Honor. Yes, we are opposed to a bond reduction. The facts of the particular case that he's being held on are that the officers responded and they did make contact with the female who was bleeding from her forehead. She did say that the defendant threw a phone at her, which caused her a laceration and for all the bleeding. The victim has gotten in contact with our office in regards to this case. She did indicate she did not want to press charges. However, the state is still proceeding with that. Mr. Aleman is correct that he is he does have a case out of the 92nd, I believe he was on probation for. So currently he has about 4 other charges that he's being held on besides this one.
And if I may respond to,
well, go ahead.
yeah, that's the point I was trying to get at, Judge. I do represent this young man on the motions to adjudicate that are pending out of the 92nd. I'm trying to refresh my memory, but I believe the judge had previously granted my client a bond on those when we had gone before him on the MTA. So that's still something that we're monitoring through the probation department and ongoing court hearings. That is currently set for November the 6th. So it's not a situation where the judge had sort of been shutting him down and was never going to let him out. He had already gone before Judge Singletary and had given him a bond on the MTA, Judge. One other just point of note, Judge, I know that there had been some a little bit of health concerns when I first met with him. I'm not sure if he's able to walk at this point. I remember he had initially indicated to me that there was a heel broken in the incident of his arrest and some other injury to his knee, perhaps. So that's why we're asking, Judge, for a reasonable bond to be set. And obviously, Judge Singletary can obviously take a second look at the bond he had previously issued. But for today, we're asking for $5,000.
Your Honor,
I know, was that bond on the MTA issued prior to this recent arrest or after?
It was prior, Judge. That goes back to all the way May the 10th of 2023. He was released for possible screening and other sort of options to move forward on his probation, Judge.
I think they put him on AIP at that time. Looks like
I believe
he
so.
completed it, and then he had this issue. And the injuries, from I know you didn't see the complaint, but in reading the complaint, the injuries that he sustained were basically self-inflicted from what I read. He jumped off a roof or something to that effect.
That's what he indicated to me, Judge. There was a jumping on his part.
Andrea, were you gonna add something?
I was, Judge. Well, besides the MTA that he's being held on, the reason there's a verification of incarceration is because he was booked for a possession of controlled substance, 2nd degree, which he was indicted on, and it looks like it was already set for arraignment November 6th.
Yeah, I saw that too. How old are you, Mr. Aparicio?
28.
28. Do you have a job, sir? Do you have a job? No?
I used to work at a, not anymore because it is, but,
When was the last time you were working there?
El ocho, this past 8,
This month?
yeah,
What city do you live in?
the FAR.
Who do you live with?
Sometimes I stay with my girls, sometimes with my mom.
If you do make bond, sir, I'm gonna ask that you have no contact with the victim or the victim's family, you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Don't go back over there, don't drive by there, don't send her any text messages, Facebook messages, contact, do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
The one complaint from probation that you're violating those conditions will put you back in jail, you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
We're on AIP before, it looked like you did well while you were on there, so if you are released, I'm gonna be asked that you be released to AIP officials. Bond will be reduced. Also gonna order monthly UAs, which means probation is gonna contact you to get drug tested. Come back positive for drugs or alcohol, you're gonna end up back in jail, is that clear?
Yes.
A couple of motions, well, you've got one motion to revoke. If you make bond on this case, there's a very good chance that the judge may revoke your bond over there and just keep you in custody, so as long as you're aware of that. Bond will be reduced to $15,000 cash surety. No contact with the victim, sir. Is that all you have, Jaime?
That is not, Judge. I have one other case.
Okay, we're gonna call C 4287-24-H, State of Texas versus Armando Leal. ¿Usted es Armando, verdad? ¿Habla español? Okay, póngase de pie, señor. He is present. Jaime, just ask that you go slowly because he is Spanish speaking, so they can do the translation.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, my client has been in custody since August 31st. He's got assault on a peace officer for $7,000 and then evading and resisting arrest for $4,000 each. That's a total bonds of $15,000. He is a resident at this point. I don't believe there is a hold. That's upon our view. I don't know if anyone else found anything, but we didn't see a hold. He is a resident for 43 years. He would be living with his father if released in Mission, Judge. As far as his work goes, he used to work in the gas pipes. It has been a while, though, since he has work. It was like 5 years ago. He does have some illness. He talks about his nerves as far as preventing him from working at this particular point. He is indigent. I am here as court-appointed counsel, Judge. I don't have, excuse me, I don't have the benefit of the PC statement, but he indicated this was started off as a shoplifting type of case, and it turned into and escalated to sort of like a fleeing from officer. It resulted in this assault charge. Excuse me, Judge. So at this point, Judge, $15,000 is beyond his total means. Judge, we're asking for reductions to for PR bonds and the evading and resisting judge, and no more than perhaps maybe $500 cash surety on the assault on a peace officer charge.
I think the complaints have been filed already on the 2 misdemeanor charge, so
Oh,
the only thing
okay.
before me would be the assault on a peace officer. It looks like the misdemeanors landed in court two. So you'd have.
Okay,
to-
Judge. I apologize for that. I had to clear it up.
What says the state?
Your Honor, at this time, we're prepared to make a recommendation to reduce it to 5,000 cash as surety. The facts are it did relay out of a theft that originally occurred at HEB during the apprehension portion. He did place an officer in a chokehold, which is where the assault on a public servant arises from. So at this time, we're prepared to make a recommendation of 5,000 cash as surety.
How old are you, Mr. Leon?
57.
Have a job? Who do you live with?
In his father's house.
How do you support yourself?
His siblings.
Bond is at 7,000. Bond will be reduced. I'm gonna order monthly UAs. To probation, no drugs, no alcohol, no beer, no liquor, nothing. You understand?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Bond will be reduced. $2,500 cash surety.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate your time, Judge.
Sir, thank you, Jaime.
Have a great day.
Lo siento, señor. Buena suerte. Next case we're gonna call is C 4260-24-L, State of Texas versus Victor Navarro. Speaking is right, Victor?
Yes, sir.
Melissa, Montes, this is your motion.
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor. We did file this, and Your Honor, my client is asking for a bond reduction. He's been in custody since September 1st, about 19 days. He does have a cash bond of $5,000, which he cannot make. He is indigent. He's a United States citizen, an ex-firefighter, who does have some serious back injuries and has been disabled since December 2017, Judge. For those reasons, Your Honor, we're asking for the court to possibly give him a PR bond or a very low bond, so that way he can get out of jail, Your Honor.
I checked this case earlier this morning and I didn't see it, but right now I'm looking at it. And he's got an ice hole. Sir, where were you born?
Mexico.
Are you?
Resident card. Yeah.
Did immigration speak to you since you've been in
I
jail?
was gonna go over there and fight with them. Go to court over there and then
So they did come and speak to you since you've been in jail?
yeah, they told me I was gonna go over there and then they'll over there with my daughter, they'll release me from over there.
On this side, okay, well, they did put a hold on your case, so, I didn't see it earlier today when I checked, but
Yeah,
Okay. what says the state?
Your Honor, we are opposed to a bond reduction. We do think it's reasonable for the charge and for his history. It looks like in 99, he did 10 years for an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon from what I could see. The facts are that the officers did respond to a park where the defendant was asleep. When they went up to him, they asked him if he had anything illegal on him. He then pulls out some crystal rock substance. It weighed about 0.2 grams. So therefore, I'm going to go ahead and be opposed to a bond reduction.
Okay. What city do you live in, sir?
I live in Edinburgh, Texas.
Who do you live with?
I live with my two children.
How long have you lived there?
I lived there for like almost a year.
How long have you lived in Hidalgo County?
In Hidalgo County, I lived here since 2009
Where were you living before that?
in California.
Do you have family here in Hidalgo County?
Yes, I have my pretty much all my family is came down from California now.
Your parents live here?
My parents live here.
You have siblings?
Yeah, I have siblings. And
Where do you work?
I am self-employed. I'm a mechanic now.
So there's an immigration hold, so if you make bond, they're gonna release you to immigration authorities.
Yeah.
And they may or may not deport you. I don't know. That's something you and your attorney will have to work out with them over there. I'm gonna order, monthly UAs. You get drug tested, sir. You come back positive, you're gonna end up back in jail. So if you're smart, stay away from that stuff. Bond will be reduced to $2,000 cash surety.
Thank you, Your
Good
Honor.
luck to you, sir. All right, thank you, Melissa. Good luck to you.
Your Honor, I do have one, I'm standing in for Chris Soley, but I can, whenever the court's ready for that one.
Okay, yeah, I was waiting for him to log on. Let me call real quick. We're gonna call C 4263-24-L, State of Texas versus Christopher de la Cruz. Speak English, Christopher?
Yes, sir.
Your attorney's not present, but Mrs. Montes is gonna stand in for him. Go ahead, Melissa.
On this one, I believe, Attorney Soley had, negotiated, a PR bond. It's a $25,000 cash or surety, state jail felony, possession of a controlled substance.
That's correct, Your Honor. There is an agreement to set a $5,000 PR bond.
How old are you, Mr. Cruz?
28 years old.
You have a job, sir?
Sir,
Where you work?
Simo Ramen.
Where?
Simo Ramen. It's a ramen place in.
Okay, what do you do there?
I make ramen.
So you're gonna be released on a PR bond, which means with your signature, you'll get out, but you're still gonna have to show up at the courthouse at a later date with your attorney to take care of this case. You understand that? During the time that you're out on bond, no drugs, no alcohol. I'm gonna order monthly UAs. You come back positive, you're gonna end up back in jail. You understand? Bond will be reduced to, you say 5,000?
Yes, Your Honor.
$5,000 PR bond. No drugs, no alcohol, sir. Stay clean. You understand? All right, good luck to you. Thank you, Melissa.
Your Honor.
The next case we're gonna call is D 4046-24-M, State of Texas versus Ivan Zamora Jr. Speak English, Mr. Zamora?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Charles Baker.
I'm here,
your
Judge.
motion.
Yes,
Good
thank you,
afternoon.
Judge. Just by way of background, Judge, we had a hearing last week with Judge Fonseca, and I had testimony of his mother there under oath, and then the judge decided to go ahead and send the case over to you. I have the mother in the waiting room if you would want to hear from her. However, I could proffer pretty much what she said at that hearing, if that would be okay with the court.
Does the state have a recommendation in this case?
We do, Judge. The recommendation is no bond reduction.
Judge,
Have
we
you
were
read the
asking,
complaint? Have you read the complaint, Mr. Baker?
yes, Judge, I understand the facts of the case very, very well. And our point here is that my client has no criminal history of any significance, certainly no violent criminal history. There was
I saw that.
at the hearing, it was clear through the state's own recognition of, and along with my client's mother's testimony, that there were threats made by the complainant for the last several months. And on the day of the incident, this individual had driven by the house. This is caught on video. He then turns his car around and comes back. My client was concerned about what was going to happen, and then we have the incident here. So my client again has no criminal history of any significance. I think an old deferred on a misdemeanor possession of marijuana case. He's gainfully employed. He graduated from high school over in Mission. He's worked for the last 6 or 7 years as an electrician. He's got certifications all over the place. At the time of his arrest, he was working with Tesla up in Austin, along with his father and residing there. Again, he's born and raised here. He's a U.S. citizen. He has significant ties to the area. I certainly don't think there's any risk of flight. And of course, I mean, since this is his only offense, and we do believe there was some element of provocation here, he has no violent history. And so the family, the mother was able to testify to the court at the hearing that she made effort to try to make this bond, called several bondsmen. They want $50,000 and they want $500,000 worth of collateral. They're not in any position to make that kind of bond. She testified about her possessions or assets, which are several vehicles, including an RV, along with a hotshot truck. And then they have a residence they had $50,000, $60,000 worth of equity in. She was able to raise about $8,000 for the bond. And so again, in the motion, I asked for 50, but she testified that she could come up with, she thinks that she could make an $80,000 bond. Judge, the bond is just way too high here. They can't make it. We're asking for a reasonable bond. We think 80,000 for a first time felony, 23-year-old young man who's graduating high school, U.S. citizen, gainfully employed. And we think that is a reasonable bond.
Mr. Zamora, how old are you?
23, sir.
If you get out on bond, sir, I'm gonna ask that you have no weapons in the home. I don't know who that weapon belonged to that you allegedly fired, but it better not be there when you get home. Do you understand me?
Someone's home, sir.
No weapons in the house. Is that clear?
I've never been around weapons in action.
I'm just telling you, I asked you a question. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, if I might interject just briefly here, he still has the possibility of work up in Austin, where he would be residing with his biological father. We would ask that if the court had granted a bond here, reduced bond, that he be able to reside in Travis County pending the outcome of this case.
How long have you been working up in Austin?
10 months.
Who do you live with up there?
My father.
You have the address?
Yes, sir.
What's the address?
112 Crooked Trail. Crooked Trail.
Crooked?
Yeah. And that's North Texas.
Trove, T-R-O?
Trail. T-R-A-I-L.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
In Bastrop?
Yes, sir.
Also gonna order monthly UAs. Well, I was gonna have him released to AIP officials. If he goes to Austin, he can't be on AIP. Or if he's on AIP, he can't go to Austin.
Okay. Well, I guess if that's going to be a condition, we'll have, they have a residence here in FAR. I mean, I guess he could try to find work locally if that's your order.
AIP is house arrest, sir, which means you can work, but you need to notify the AIP officials where you're working, your schedule. And if you're supposed to be at work and they go check and you're not there, that's a violation. If you're supposed to be at home and they go check and you're not there, that's a violation. Those violations will be reported back to me and we'll decide if we're going to put you back in jail. So by placing you on AIP, that means you cannot leave Hidalgo County. So you can't go up to Bastrop or Austin to go work. We'll leave you on there a couple of months. If we don't have any issues, maybe after a couple of months, we can consider releasing you from AIP. But until then, I'm going to order that you be released to AIP officials. You understand that? No drugs, no alcohol while you're out on bond, no weapons in the home. Whether they're yours or not, they better not be in the home. You understand me? That means bullets or anything else. In the future, you don't take matters into your own hands. So if there's a concern, you pick up the phone and call police. You understand? No contact with these alleged victims. I don't know if you know them or not. Sounds like maybe you did because you recognize the vehicle driving by. So no contact with them. Don't send any messages to them or any of their friends. If they're contacting you or attempting to contact you, talk to your attorney, call the police. That's what you need to do, not take matters into your own hands. Is that clear? Bond will be reduced to $50,000 cash surety.
Could you repeat that, Judge? I couldn't hear you.
$50,000 cash surety.
Thank you, Judge. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Anything else on that, Charles?
No, sir, we're good.
You understand the conditions, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Make
I'll
sure
make
you
sure he
comply.
does,
Listen to the attorney. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good luck to
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Charles.
All righty.
The next case we're gonna call is, Greg, you there?
Yes, I am,
C
Judge.
4286-24-E, State of Texas versus Julio Almada. English?
Just trying to walk into the courthouse, Judge.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's that coming from? Let's see.
It's hot out here.
I hear you. The complaint on the collision involving damage to a vehicle has already been filed. It's landed in court too.
Okay.
The thing before me is the collision involving injury, which is currently set at $20,000. Asking, go ahead, you may proceed.
Well, Your Honor, Mr. Omada, or should I say his family has tried to postpone for him, currently set at 20,000 surety. But due to my client's lack of immigration status in the United States, Your Honor, they can't find a bondsman that will take less than $20,000. So I think his stepfather is very caring for Mr. Omada, is trying to help him out any way he can. And the man has told me, again, Mr. Omada's stepdad, that he could possibly pay a $5,000 cash surety bond. Well, I mean, I thought I was going to ask bond reductions on both cases, but that's what we're seeking, Judge.
Okay. What says the state?
We are opposed to a bond reduction, Your Honor, due to his status in the US. He does have an ICE hold. He does have a prior history. He did 5 years in 2012 for an injury to a child. And before you do have the probable cause statement. So for those reasons, we would be opposed.
Yeah, I see 2 prior smuggling charges too. Are you on?
Your Honor, those charges were dismissed, Your Honor. Those cases were resolved about 2 months ago.
Of them? One was from 2021 and one was from 2024.
They're the same ones.
The
Oh,
20
okay,
the 2021 judge, it looks like it was dismissed. I'll check why, and then the 2024 one, I
It's because
believe
they
it-
convicted him on a federal case. I pulled up the paperwork here.
Yes, Your Honor. He's been convicted in federal court for illegal reentry. His crime only being reentering the country after being removed. My client was removed from the United States following his release from prison on the injury to a child case. But Mr. Omada,
Are you on supervised release, Mr. Mann? Are you on supervised release? No? Do you want to add something, Greg?
just that Mr. Omada has lived in the United States his entire life, Your Honor. His family, he grew up here in Hidalgo County. His family is in Hidalgo County. But due to that issue of that felony case that the prosecutor referred to, he lost his legal status here in the United States. Your Honor.
He's gonna be removed. They removed him last time, you said, right?
Your Honor, when he was released from Hidalgo County Jail, again, about 2 months ago, when the smuggling case was dismissed, immigration actually did not pick him up, and he was not referred to a U.S. Marshals either. He actually was allowed to go home here in Hidalgo County. I cannot tell the court with any certainty what is going to happen if bond is posted in this case.
Was filed on September 2nd. Okay, so I'll reduce bond to $10,000 cash surety.
All right.
Sir, your there is an immigration hold. You understand what that means, right? So if you make any type of bond, they're gonna call immigration authorities. They'll pick you up. And they'll decide if they're gonna deport you or not. Your attorney said last time they didn't deport you. This time may be different. I don't know. But this case doesn't go away, even if you're deported. So if you are and you don't show up at your court date, whenever it happens in the future, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. If you're ever caught back over here again, you're gonna end up back in jail to deal with that case. You understand that? Okay. Bond will be reduced to $10,000 cash surety.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Greg.
Yes.
You have a seat, too. Good luck to you. Andrea, thank you for your help.
Thank you, Judge.
Have a good afternoon.